Alright, hello guys. It is time once again for Mid-Card Mana, and it is we're your lovely hosts. This is Sam this is Sam Kiola, the wrestling connoisseur. And this is Loose Cannon, aka Fumiko Mega, for the people that now from cage side seats might be watching this. That'd be cool. That's pretty cool.
I might be there sometime soon. Somebody keeps bugging me to.
Yeah, I keep trying to get him to.
And
he's a better writer than I am, so
I do have a lot of stuff I can transfer over, a lot of older stuff that I might just date and throw over there, or it's lazy. All still kind of relevant. I'm super lazy, and I'm working on a novel and
very busy
and stuff,
also.
So, and I have children.
Yeah.
Child and wife. And,
I just work 60 hours a week.
I don't know what's.
But being a dad is 100% of the time.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I also write over at Inside Pulse occasionally, and all that stuff's also up on my blog with other random wrestling stuff, and of course about being a stay-at-home dad. And so.
Oh my god, I can't stop.
Yeah, I told you. See, I throw food at.
This is our thing now.
Yeah, let's just put more stuff in it.
So what we're doing is, this video is going to be for 2 weeks of review in the WWE. We had a WWE review video.
And then we had technological issues.
And then the iCloud just nuked it, which is a shame because there was a great but there was a great take of me laughing for 5 minutes straight about Sawyer Fulton.
Yeah, I can't even remember what you said. But,
it was what you said.
No, what you said to lead up to it that made me say.
About all the women that have been released lately. You
mean like Sawyer Fulton?
Like Emma and
the Loose Cannon lost it.
I lost it,
and it just it was an ongoing joke for the rest of our episodes, and it was a joke that continued on into the next recordings that actually did go on.
Yeah, so if there's a reason why you don't get our jokes, it's because we lost a video.
Yeah. So anyway, 2 weeks worth of WWE.
All right, so let's get straight to it. So starting from Monday, October 30th, that's the Raw before Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Angle talks about being in the whole Under Siege thing. Says, I'm really sorry I let this happen to you, but I promise you this will never, ever happen again. You have my word. I'll never let this happen. I'll never fail you guys in this way again. Steph comes out.
You're fired. Where you're going to be
if you don't lead Team Monday Night Raw to victory against SmackDown, you're fired.
At Survivor Series. Which is the only time of the year that WWE Raw versus SmackDown go head to head.
Who knew?
Which, as I explained the last one that got deleted, it's annoying to me because they say it every time Survivor Series is mentioned. They have to say this line, kind of like the not only 999, but it's way more annoying.
And it's completely delivered seriously.
Yeah, it is just way too much. The 999 thing was comical and delivered with a little bit of, of
sass.
Yeah, they knew it was a joke, and even though they were saying it, and it became its own joke, but this
it got over with the man.
It did. It got over, but this Survivor Series where Raw and SmackDown,
the only time of year Raw and SmackDown go head to head,
it's just too long, and it's full of crap because it's only been the last 2 years maybe Raw and SmackDown's actually gone head to head kind of. And I mean Raw and SmackDown kind of go head to head all the time anyway, like TLC.
Or AJ Styles. After,
yeah. Or, so yeah. So that happened, and then a bunch of random matches that didn't mean shit.
Well, so, but an interesting thing that I thought Steph brought up is she talks about, everyone's so quick to love Shane McMahon, but then she's basically like, but he's a shitty person.
And, right now...
He's selfish, he's really sort of short-sighted, and he focuses very much on what would bring him...
Right.
Specific glory or personal gain, not as much what would bring his brand.
right now they both really are showing that they are McMahons.
Definitely.
And I don't know. I mean, Raw is kind of being portrayed as the face of this,
which
aspect.
Is strange, and it's mostly because of the fact that it's Kurt Angle,
right?
And Shane did the very heel thing of Under Siege.
Especially if you consider they took out Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Of the whole angle, Daniel Bryan's been taken out, and so the only face is. He
was also taken out of that episode where he got chokeslammed by Kane.
Right.
Oh, and the best thing that Steph said ever in any promo that she's ever given in her life. She's like, you talked about the 3 eyes. Well, maybe I should add a 4th eye. Incompetence.
Oh. And of course, Kurt, the rest of the night, he was just lost it. He didn't know what he was doing. And he was just throwing random decisions out, basically.
Well, you could see very much that
stressed.
Yeah, definitely. Because now he's under this increased pressure to perform because his job's on the line in a way that no other GM has had to really sort of be in that position where they have to also consider things as a competitor rather than just as a general manager.
So I think it was not necessarily a surprise, but yeah. I don't know what you call it.
It was what it was.
Yeah.
So
like most of the show.
Bo Dallas made his return that day as well.
Lots of big returns.
There was the Miz Taraj, and Miz, being upset that Kurt Angle was just sort of handed this spot by Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
To be the team captain of Raw. Blah blah blah. Angle tells Miz that he's defending his belt.
Mm-hmm.
Alicia Fox cuts a promo saying that she can't fight Bayley because she's too busy being Raw team captain, or Raw women's team captain. So who comes out to take her place? Nia Jax.
Nia returns. Samoa Joe returns.
Within the same sort of time frame.
It was
Nia Jax also announced as the second member of the women's team on Raw.
And then later in the show, Braun Strowman returns after a bunch of trash laying around. It was a really corny way to return Strowman. And it was
a weird calling card for him, if you will. Yeah,
much reflective of the first time he returned too. So yeah, I mean, it was
with the ambulance, which was great
for a Raw of so many returns, and to be a builder for Survivor Series. It was very strange. It was very corny.
It was also the Raw before Halloween as well, so they had the trick or treat fight.
Yeah.
Which was
Carl Anderson dressed up pretty much as Michael P.S.
Carl with the Good Brothers,
quite possibly
as Chad Too Bad and Tex Ferguson.
Yeah. Quite possibly the one of the better things of the show was just seeing Carl Anderson dressed as Michael P.S. The match itself was kind of what they did last year,
but it was a good opportunity to see that Heath Slater and Rhino have not been released
so far.
Yeah,
unlike
as
Sawyer Fulton.
It was not as we'll never get that magic back. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interest. Well, I can't say it was an interesting Raw. It was there. There were a lot of key factors that went into the show.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that got set into motion. With Daniel Bryan getting attacked by Kane.
There were so many things that it was like, okay, we've had all these things on the back burner. When are we going to return Nia? When are we going to return Joe? Bo Dallas is back. Are we going to do anything with him in a special way? We got to return Braun. And we have to announce Kurt Angle as as the team leader.
We have to hit all these spots before Survivor Series.
And they're like...
But I mean, enough before Survivor Series that doesn't seem
to make it
weird.
relevant. But then at the same time, none of it was made relevant.
Yeah.
Because there was just so much stuff. Joe's return should have meant something.
Instead, Apollo Crews went out to sort of meet his challenge, and Apollo Crews got choked out with a coquina. And Titus also got choked out with the coquina. So the next week after.
Yep. Flash forward a week. Titus versus Joe. Joe just comes out and destroys Titus. There's been some minor build with Elias and
Jason
Jordan. If it plays out well and they have a really good match to top this feud off, both of them should benefit from this.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I really don't think Jordan should win the feud. I think Elias should win the feud. You know, I would keep pushing Elias up to that Intercontinental title position. But we'll see where that goes.
Like the Honky Tonk Man?
You know, I mean, he's way more talented than Honky Tonk Man. Leaps and bounds.
I just love the Honky Tonk Man's music. It's a good tune, man.
Yeah. Honestly, if anybody should be Honky Tonk Man, it should be Doc Gallows. Anyway, we also see Balor come out and basically answer Joe's challenge. Mm-hmm. So we get the initiation of the Balor Joe feud.
And this is on the Raw afterwards. So that was on November 6th.
So things are moving, and they're also building toward the Survivor Series, which is the only time of the year Raw and SmackDown go head to head.
Yeah. Who knew?
Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know what will be included besides the head-to-head stuff on Survivor Series. I don't think much of anything. Maybe on a pre-show we might get like Elias versus Jordan, which besides that,
well, on that Raw as well, there's also still some more between Finn Balor and Kane.
True. Which Balor
which is interesting to see where that could possibly be headed.
And it's strange because they're building Balor versus Joe while also jobbing Balor out to Kane. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I understand you want to build Kane up to fill this void, but
then why would Balor be considered a challenge to Joe then?
Right.
After getting squashed.
Yeah, just decimate a lot of your top guys, actually, because I think they did it to Rollins and Ambrose too with Kane. So it's like it didn't make a lot of sense build wise, because we know Kane is a monster, and Kane can come in at any point in time and beat anybody. So you really didn't need to do these builds and sacrifice guys that are at the top to beef up a Kane that's been gone all this time. Mm-hmm. You could have done that easily with Goldust or I don't know, Enzo and Apollo, Truth, not Enzo, but Titus and Apollo.
You could have done it with Enzo. You could have done it with
Enzo. Everybody would have cheered him then. There's so many things that you could have done instead of, but yeah. We also finally get Braun Strowman versus Miz, and I'm really let down it wasn't for the Intercontinental title.
It was.
Was it?
Yes.
Because Strowman wins, right? But he doesn't win the belt. Because it makes more sense to me to put the title on Strowman, build that title, continue to build that title out the ass like Ambrose and Miz have been doing. But with it on Strowman is a little bit more relevant. He can do a lot more title defenses against a lot more guys and build himself and the title up while not going after the world title, which who knows what they're going to do with that. Mm-hmm. But it keeps building Braun up in a way that makes sense. Keeps him, he's not undefeated, but he has a great record. Keeps that going while doing your other stuff.
And it was Braun Strowman won after a disqualification from Kane. Kane came in.
Oh, well, there you go. So I really do think that they should have scrapped Braun from that, but what else are you going to do with Miz right now? You can really do anything with him. They could go for tag titles. He could go after the world title. He has a nice little unit there with Dallas and Axel.
I honestly thought that his promo against Baron Corbin, where he was like, "Don't you ever talk about my pregnant wife and unborn daughter."
Go face so easily. is the amazing part about it. I mean,
especially with this newfound sort of family angle that he's trying to go towards, like that would lend itself so well to that.
I mean, if you even consider like after Survivor Series, a face angle with Lesnar and Miz. I mean, him going for the title. I have to
do this for my daughter.
Yeah. You know, him building up, really build him up toward the title. And even if he loses, you haven't lost any ground with the Miz.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
I mean, if he lasts even 5 minutes against Brock Lesnar, he'll still look great.
I like how you're covering your mouth while you're eating. You're like, especially if you're going to build Reigns to Lesnar, if that's still the plan. And we know
that was always the plan.
We know they're not going to turn Roman heel, even though he is heel. So it's like,
wait, Reigns is a heel?
What? So if you're going to have Lesnar as the heel, then a face Miz could really help get that over.
Yeah.
Especially like a monster Brock. I don't care about your family.
I don't give a shit about your kids.
Yeah. Oh my God. Then you could have like Slater and Miz talking about their kids and shit. Gold. It's gold.
Book it.
So that was Raw in 2 weeks.
Well, there was one thing that you missed on Raw.
It wasn't important.
So this past Monday, on November 6th, there was another big debut on Monday Night Raw of the United Kingdom champion, Pete fucking Dunne, who came out.
Well done. Well done.
Go away.
You know, I was happy to see them finally doing it. I think I mentioned this in one episode before, either with us or maybe talking to my friend John. Why not use the United Kingdom people in the 205 division, since a lot of them are under that weight limit?
Mm-hmm. Except for, Wolfgang and Trent Seven, my two favorites. But
I mean, Dunne is perfect to carry that title.
Dunne is billed at 205 exact.
Especially if you have him double champion. I mean, what better way to get that division over?
That'd be incredible.
To say, like, here's a guy who is going to carry the division for, a couple months to a year.
And he had an outstanding showing on Monday Night Raw.
Especially Triple H is behind him so much.
And Regal. Yeah. Both of them love him.
So I mean, it's secretly Regal's son, just like Jason Jordan is secretly Kurt Angle's son.
I'm fine with this.
It would, that would actually work.
Yeah.
But, it just, to me, it makes the most sense. I mean, you have a guy who is super talented, who looks like he could get in the ring and actually go with a lot of the other, with even Brock. Brock outweighs him by a ton, but it looks like he could outpace Brock and actually get in there and wrestle Brock down.
Well, I mean, it's definitely that's the huge difference we always see in style from British wrestling to wrestling anywhere else, really. It was just how excellent they are at working in the ring technically, groundwork specifically. I've found I've always been really impressed with the groundwork of British wrestling, because even the flippiest ones have a really good basis of understanding on how that kind of stuff works. So, like, even Will Ospreay can wrestle a person down. He's excellent at, flying through the air. He's the aerial assassin, of course, but just the...
And that's what this division needs.
That's the foundational, needs. I guess, support is that no matter how flippy they are, they can still, if they can't flip off shit or springboard on anything, they know how to wrestle a person down through holds, submissions, etc.
I think that's exactly what 205 needs, is to show that, hey, we're not a cruiserweight division.
Or just because we're a cruiserweight division doesn't mean that we cannot.
Because I can remember WCW trying to get over their cruiserweight, their lightweight,
their light heavyweight.
And at the time, I think his name was Mike Graham. He was an older wrestler, but he was their light heavyweight champion. there was no high flying stuff. This guy come in and he just out wrestled the other guy completely.
Yeah.
And even despite the other guy being a high flyer, you know, he took him down. He did submissions and holds, and it's like, okay, this is just a lighter weight champion, but he can still go in the ring.
Yeah.
And you know, at the time it really didn't get over, you know, until they did a lot of the other stuff. But now you kind of need to have it in all angles. Like, they have to be able to do all these things. So yeah, I mean,
and the cruiserweight division delivers on that.
The crowd really responded to Pete Dunne.
Of course, they're also in his hometown.
Right. Not to mention he has a really awesome finisher.
The bitter end
has nobody has seen before, and
I've only ever seen one person able to counter it, and that's Tyler Bate, another member of the United Kingdom division.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody do that move. The closest thing would be the pump handle cutter, I think, but not like a pump handle F5.
But I mean, it's an incredible move. It looks hugely devastating, and it happens so fast.
Yeah.
That it's really hard to dissect. If you're not familiar with what the move is, it's hard to dissect into it to try and figure out all the different things that you have to do.
If you're a casual fan and you're flipping through and you see this move hit, you're going to be like, "Whoa, let me see that again."
So I showed.
And there's only two moves I think I've ever seen like that, and that would be his finisher and then the Canadian Destroyer. That you're like, wait a minute, what the hell was that?
Yeah, the Canadian Destroyer is
one of our familiar. Petey Williams.
Yeah, is one of our other panelists, I guess you could say. Keone Cook. That's the finisher he would use if he wanted to be a wrestler.
Interesting.
He would do the Canadian Destroyer. I'm personally a Razor's Edge person, but I'm short, so it's, you know.
Oh my God! They just walked out of it.
Yeah. So it's problematic.
At your taunt after you try to get it. Again.
Not again. But yeah, so Pete Dunne showed up.
I just want to say that I never get text or phone calls unless we're actually start a video.
Yeah. That's when people want you.
They know. I think he's doing something.
So on the second week of Raw, we also found that 2 more women were added to the Raw women's team. So it was Asuka and Sasha Banks. Notably, Sasha Banks is added after a tag team match between Sasha and Bayley and Alicia Fox and Nia Jax.
And
so
interesting.
Only Sasha.
Sasha is rumored to be going heel pretty soon anyway.
Very soon.
So I imagine it'll be at the expense of Bayley, and I imagine the feud coming out of it will be at the expense of Bayley as well. Which goes to further make you wonder if she's not in the doghouse.
Yeah.
In some manner. I don't know what they're planning or thinking. I mean, Sasha's kind of irrelevant right now, and I think Bayley would get the most out of a heel turn.
Definitely.
I don't think Sasha's heel turn is going to mean crap, especially when, you have Alexa
I think
Bliss.
Sasha can present as a stronger heel than Bayley. I think is what it is.
Sasha
that she
should be heel. Her whole gimmick is set up to be heel, but with Alexa Bliss heel already, it's going to be you can't push them both to the world title as heels. And you need faces to feed to Alexa Bliss. So,
like Bayley,
gotta have somebody. I don't know who you're gonna go with, but gotta be somewhere. So SmackDown.
So SmackDown on Halloween. There was Shane opening the show talking about how everyone always thinks SmackDown's the inferior brand. Well, he's here to show them as team captain of SmackDown. He is going to lead his team to victory and prove all the haters wrong.
Then we have Sammy come out. And he's like, Kevin and I will be on SmackDown.
No, that was the last
week. Was it the last week?
Yeah.
It all runs together.
So
Shane
what happened
says no.
Was we got 2 more of the people on Team SmackDown. So the first one was Bobby Roode after a 2 out of 3 falls match against Dolph Ziggler,
who is apparently gone and done.
Which, I mean, we had heard a long time ago that his last big feud was going to be with Roode.
Yeah,
and he's been kind of wanting out for a while.
And on WWE.com, I guess.
Is that Kane?
I don't know. I'm just doodling. On WWE.com, I guess he did like this little interview, put Roode over, and said that he has to reevaluate what he's doing. And of course, they're not going to air that. But yeah, I don't know if we will see anything else out of Ziggler, or if this is just it. If
this is his swan song, or if it's a route to yet another repackage.
I can't imagine they'll repackage again. I mean, they didn't really repackage him last time,
but notably,
they just did the little, the gimmick kind of swap. But
well, I mean, Austin Aries said something very similar shortly before he was released as well.
So with Aries,
like, I need to take some time to reevaluate what I'm doing, and
the current news with Aries is that
creative had nothing for him.
He did not ask for his release at all. He was actually really happy with where he was in the company. That he was glad to be the guy that would help get others over.
I'm glad to do commentary or anything like that.
Send him back to NXT, help train guys.
205, anything, and
I tend to believe that as well, because before WWE called, Aries was pretty much done when he did his tryout and didn't get it. He was like, all right, I'm done. I'm good at where I'm at in my career. And then TNA called him back. It was like, hey, we want you to come back. He went back to TNA. He had a great run. And then he was kind of like, okay, well, I'm pretty much done. He got into NXT. So he really is, I think, at a point in his life where he's like, he's cool either which way it happens.
Yeah.
But it sounds like WWE just was like, okay.
Shoots. Which is a shame, because they just recently hired his fiance.
Right.
Zelina Vega.
Maybe that's why. Who knows? They're weird about relationship-wise people.
They're weird about certain ones.
So, I mean, it's very interesting. Why would you get rid... And who knows, this could be a huge thing with Neville as well. Because him and Aries look like you're going to use these two guys to build this division. You have two names that are really well known. Even if Aries wasn't really well known in the WWE circle, on the indie scene,
the greatest
Impact,
man who ever lived,
ROH, not just wrestlers know him, but fans know him, and this is somebody that you can get in the ring with. They both look fantastic. They both could go toe to toe with anybody on the roster,
and I mean, both of them have. But prior to both of them being in 205, they've had matches with other people. Adrian Neville had a pretty excellent showing against Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins was doing the Open Challenge.
John Cena. Neville and Cena had a couple matches.
Him too.
That were really good. Then all their NXT stuff. Both of them, all their NXT stuff.
Yeah, and Austin Aries had a really good match against Nakamura, and unfortunately...
Right,
that was how he fractured his orbital.
So, but it's interesting why you wouldn't keep Aries around to build this division, especially if you want to say, okay, this is our Scott Hall, our Chris Jericho. This is the guy that we want to use to get the champion over and get the next guy that's going to be a contender over, and this is our guy that Oh, they beat Aries, so they're they must be good. They beat Aries, they're going to challenge the champion. But for whatever reason, they just dropped the ball on Aries and just let him go. I don't see how you can say that creative-wise you have nothing for Austin Aries when you look at the whole 205 division, and creative-wise you have nothing for anybody.
Them, yeah.
There's nothing.
Well, with perhaps the exception
no creative for. I mean, Gulak is like the only one that has anything creative right now.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and he's been doing incredible, like as far as the gimmick and the whole PowerPoint presentation and everything.
It's mind-boggling.
I am a fan. I have never really liked Drew Gulak outside of just admiring his in-ring ability, but throughout this whole thing, it's just good. It's good stuff.
Finance-wise, they looked at everything and they okay, we offered Aries this much to come up to the main roster. We have all these other people we're looking to bring up, this, and
is this something that we can cut?
Aries. Yeah, we're just going to axe him because he's not the champion. We're going to cut him out. And I mean, you lost Aries. Now Neville's gone. Sawyer Fulton's gone.
It'll never be as funny as the first time.
God, and everybody else. I can't even think of their names right now.
I mean,
so it's interesting.
It's unfortunate
what's happened there. I don't know how we get off on this tangent.
He apparently doesn't seem to be as belligerent or upset about it as sources had previously reported. He seems to be in a much better place, and hearing how it went down from him, I think, made it all make a little bit more sense.
I think it's still hilarious that he's like, well, I can make more on the indies anyway.
And he can. And I mean, people like Cody Rhodes totally prove that correct. If you know how to book yourself as, like, because at that point, it's you're going out and trying to find contracts on your own. Right. So if you know how to book yourself and sell yourself.
It's marketing at that point.
Yeah.
And I think Cody, he has, he's lucky in a sense because he's Dusty Rhodes'
He's
son.
a legacy.
But at the same time, he was kind of the first to get out of his contract and went out and has had enough excitement around him to be like, hey, I want to wrestle all these other guys. I want to do things more out there than just sit at home, collect my contract, and play this character. Whereas
people lined up to help to be part of this new Cody Rhodes. I mean, not too long after he joined New Japan,
who are who get released and cut, and they start taking any booking, and they don't put in like the groundwork for it to say, to hit social media, to do all these other things, to say, hey, I want to be more than what I was doing at WWE. They just say, oh, I don't know what name I'm going to go by. And that's pretty much the end of it. So
I mean, you see people like
that is what it is.
Jack Swagger, who it took him a little bit of time to really pick up momentum once he left the WWE, or Sami Callihan, who was huge before he went to WWE, and then was met with a lot of excitement, but then unfortunately it didn't go to where he wanted it to. And when he left, and
we'll talk about Sami Callihan a little bit later. Yeah. And another one. Jack Swagger, too. Yeah. Swagger I don't know, he's still going by Jack Swagger. I don't know if when he signs to a major place, if he'll be able to go by Swagger. He talked about going by his real name or going by like the artist formerly known as Jack Swagger or something.
Which I know he's been billed as that from a couple places. But anyway. All right. So we're going to try and refocus again on the WWE.
I actually had to take that call.
What call?
I had a phone call.
What?
Yeah. You thought I just froze time. Oh. I do that randomly too.
We've been friends for too long that we both went to that.
I know what you're thinking. So yeah, guy, I just want to say here, here's where we're at. Survivor Series.
Well, we're talking about SmackDown.
The only time of the year.
Raw and SmackDown go head to head.
Team Raw, headed by Kurt Angle. Over
Team Raw,
who knows when. Wait.
Featuring, okay.
At no point did they decide, hey, this would be a great opportunity to do this on air. No. They decided, hey, let's just tweet this. Braun Strowman is going to be part of Team Raw.
Yeah.
All right. Fail number one.
They address it the next week and say, oh,
By the way,
he's a negotiator, so to get him on Team Raw, I had to promise him a match.
Hey.
A title match. A title match against you. A title match against you, Miz. A title match against you, Miz, tonight.
That Braun Strowman, he's not just a tough guy, he's a tough negotiator.
Oh, God.
Come on. Seriously.
Oh, God.
Fell idiotic when you rush to have all these returns on one show, and then somehow in the next 24 hours, I don't know how long it was, when they tweeted it out or it was on whatever, Braun Strowman's going to be on Team Raw. Oh my God. Seriously. Kill your storylines before they even happen.
And
that's what happened.
In the same token, so on the SmackDown on the 31st on Halloween, we find out, Bobby Roode's joining Team SmackDown. Nakamura ends up beating KO.
Yeah.
Joins Team SmackDown. So that's
we have Shane.
3 people. That's Shane, Randy, Nakamura, Bobby Roode. So then they announce on that one that that Rusev, because he beat Biggie in a match. He beat Akeem the African Dream. Props to Biggie, by the way, for wrestling.
OMG. He beat Akeem.
He beat Akeem.
Nobody's gonna get that one. Akeem was the one-man gang. OMG. No? Nobody? Okay. That one went over Andy's head.
I'm trying really hard also to focus. So he beats Akeem. Then he goes to Shane, and it's like, I beat him. It's Rusev Day.
It's Rusev Day. I beat him. You can face AJ
Styles next week for the spot and on Team SmackDown.
I told you, like, they made that, and then the next day they started saying,
AJ Styles versus Jinder
Mahal next week, and it's like, what? So
what ended up happening the next week is that Styles faced Jinder Mahal for the title, and Rusev faced Randy Orton for a spot,
which made no sense.
So if Randy Orton wins, he keeps the spot. If Randy Orton loses, Rusev gains a spot. It's not like Randy Orton loses a spot.
Right. It's so stupid. It was like, you want to be on this team?
There's no consequence for Randy Orton losing.
There's never any consequences for Randy Orton.
But Randy Orton then wins.
Just like the Randy versus Rusev feud.
Yeah. So Randy Orton...
Thank God Orton won and got over, because he would have been totally irrelevant now.
Yeah. So Randy Orton wins this match. So, denying Rusev a spot on Team SmackDown. And then what happens? Again, another tweet. It is announced that John Cena is added to Team SmackDown. Rusev tweets out, there's the most hilarious things, like, props to my best friend John Cena for making it, for earning his way onto on Team SmackDown. Go get him, Tiger.
I think Donald Trump is now tweeting for WWE.
Oh, I lost it. I just
it's a bit disheartening. Like,
handsome Rusev for champ, frankly.
Well, there's rumor that Rusev is going to turn face.
He's already, essentially.
Like Roman Reigns is heel, Rusev is face. It would be interesting, if they did turn.
It's just unfortunate because everyone just shits all over Rusev all the time.
They do.
Handsome Rusev.
It's Rusev Day.
Every day is Rusev Day.
It is.
Your time is up. His time is now.
It's Rusev Day.
You can't beat him. Rusev Day is now.
Did I ever tell you I found where they got the John Cena theme from? It really is a Mexican band song. It is awesome. It really is pretty cool, and I think that
he raps over.
Yes, they completely stole it, remixed it, and they rap over it.
He raps over it.
Yeah. And
make no mistake, it's John Cena.
I think what they should be doing is have the original song and have a guy come in and pretend to be John Cena, but he's from Mexico. His name is Juan Cena. And actually, that should be the opening. His name is Juan Cena. And then it kicks up. Da, 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 da. He comes out dressed just like John Cena. Yep.
It'd be great. Book it. Make it happen.
Couldn't be any worse than what they did with Sandow. You know what I mean?
Which part?
All of it. All of it. Seriously.
Poor Aaron Rex. All right, so
yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll turn Rusev face in this Survivor Series somehow. He's teaming with everybody else's face technically, except maybe Shane could be going heel.
It seems like Shane is poised for a heel turn.
Yeah,
which makes me question
and Orton
if this was really a Sami Zayn heel turn after all.
You know, with them talking that Randy really wants to go heel. That Rusev is going to go face, and Shane acting heel, and Daniel Bryan getting taken out, and Sami Zayn turning heel. It's like they could flip-flop everybody in a really short period of time and actually get away with it. Yeah.
We'll see how it works in the long run.
I don't know. I don't know who's writing SmackDown now, and
now that the zombie princess has risen from the dead.
If Vince would sign off on it, because last I heard, like Vince was really hand on with SmackDown. Although it looks like he's been really hand on with Raw lately because it's been corny as hell. And Vince should be booking like Chikara, because like Vince is super corny. Ham sandwich, diet soda, getting birthed by Mae Young and Mark Henry, and a hand and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's
and Soldier Ant.
That's
and March and Archie. Oh wait, I'm talking about Chikara.
The huge thing that happened on SmackDown was that AJ Styles defeats Jinder Mahal.
Yes.
Which
now means that it's Styles versus Lesnar.
Right. Comes as a huge shocker because it's like, okay, well, did they do this because they didn't think Jinder versus Lesnar was going to get a huge reaction?
Or did they do this because they heard about the stacked card of Wrestle Kingdom?
Right.
And so this is their response to that. We can make big matches too.
With the Bullet Club. I don't know. I wonder, and there's no direct answers, I feel, but I do think, here's what I would do with the fact that this is what's happened right now. Mm-hmm. If they said, hey, Sam, do you want to book for us? Then this is what I would suggest. You have AJ versus Lesnar. I would not have Jinder come out. A lot of people say, oh, Jinder's going to come cost AJ the match. I would not do that. I would just not use Jinder for the Survivor Series at all, honestly. Maybe an interview or something, but
pre-show?
I would not have him come and interfere in the match. I would actually have AJ go over clean on Brock Lesnar. And
Lesnar's on his way out anyway. Why give him a win?
The idea would be that the rematch between AJ and Jinder, I would have Lesnar come in and cost AJ the title. Mm-hmm. And set up a match for WrestleMania between AJ and Lesnar. I would have AJ win the Rumble and choose to face Lesnar for the title at WrestleMania instead of Jinder. And then you build from there. It writes itself. AJ has decided to face Brock Lesnar, and then of course that would send Shane McMahon into a frenzy. AJ would be booked on both shows really pretty much, and you would have a good feud build. Plus, at the end of the day, AJ is going to be the only guy to beat Lesnar twice clean and get away unscathed, which is a huge push for AJ Styles. It's a great way to use Lesnar to get somebody else over.
Yeah, and Lesnar, it's not like Lesnar would look worse for it.
He would look worse for it. It would give Lesnar a good reason to come back. Mm-hmm. When he does show up again, boom, he attacks AJ, costs AJ the title.
Instead of having him hold the belt for ransom, as it were.
Yeah. And I mean, you could have this feud go on for literally 2 years, here and there, and it wouldn't hurt anybody. In the meantime, you'd recrown Jinder before the India tour.
Yeah.
Which will be really soon. And Jinder goes to India as a 2-time world champion. A lot of people don't like Jinder. It's questionable. The reasons, he is... One thing I do like about Jinder is he is a throwback to like old school heels.
Definitely.
He's hated for all the right reasons, and he's hated for all the wrong reasons too. With Jinder, people don't like him because he is Indian. People don't like him because he doesn't win the matches cleanly.
And people don't like him also because he calls them on the fact they don't like him because he's Indian.
And it's great old school heel mentality. And so, for me, also the AJ versus Jinder match, AJ was selling like a champ, and that's what Jinder's been needing this whole time he's been champion.
Was someone to really put his moves over.
Somebody really put him over. And he's had 2 feuds, and both of those feuds failed to get him over. If you think back to Batista, who is not a technical whiz at all.
He's a powerhouse.
He wasn't really great on the mic. He wasn't really great at anything. He just had a physical presence in the ring. But you put him in feuds against like JBL, Undertaker, I hate to say Mysterio, Triple H. I mean, you put him in there with ring generals and guys that could get fans excited and could get him over and make him look great in the ring.
That is the biggest thing. It's you can be as good of a wrestler as you can, but if someone is just going out there and no-selling you, you're going to look like a chump.
I mean, especially for your big win and in your next consecutive 2 or 3 defenses, which was Randy Orton, who just absolutely no-sold Jinder every step of the way. And then Shinsuke, as much as we love Shinsuke, that whole feud was just a wash. There wasn't enough excitement for Shinsuke to get that feud, and Jinder wasn't built up enough for it.
It was also too early for both of them to be facing each other at that point.
The second feud should have been AJ, maybe Sammy. They should have had people built up ready for Jinder to go against.
I mean, you could have even
Kevin. Yeah. I mean, they really could have.
I know. The Big Show.
The Big Show would have worked, honestly.
Yeah.
It would have. I mean, have him swept you over. Big Show could have really gotten Jinder over in a way. But I mean, they just did not get Jinder over. He really needed a feud with AJ, which he might get now. In the long run, he might get it. But yeah, that's what I would do. That's how I would book this going forward between the top titles. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, that would put Roman out of the WrestleMania main event.
What would we do without Roman Reigns headlining?
Obviously, what they could end up doing is swapping AJ for Roman Reigns and have Roman go over Jinder for the title.
Yeah, I mean,
it might get Reigns cheered some because people hate Jinder. I don't know. And
my mom hates Jinder Mahal so much.
Maybe
Jinder.
Maybe
you can't hinder him.
Maybe a great way to tease it would be to have all of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of 3MB left in the ring at the Rumble. I'm just saying. Big
Jinder Mahal did not appreciate the 3-man band chants when I started.
I'm sure
when
he
we
did
started
on
them.
The inside. He was probably like, and then like in the corner of his eyes, he was probably like.
Because he sent the Bollywood boys over to try and shut me up.
Well, yeah, he's trying to be heel.
Because I was like,
he don't need those chants.
3-man band was better. And the guy in front of me, 3MB, 3MB, 3MB.
Hey.
I got the world's heavyweight champion upset at me.
Slater's got kids, yo.
Yeah, he needs this job.
He does.
Maybe that's why he still has the job.
Maybe. We'll see. If
He's
they ever
built it into his gimmick.
if they ever call him in to let him go, I hope he tells them that.
I got
Hey,
kids.
man, I got kids, yo.
I need this job.
And then Rhino comes in and spears whoever's trying to tell him.
I hope that if that ever happens, actually, he's wearing the "I got kids" shirt.
He's like,
You guys made this shirt for me, man.
I got a figure, man. It says I got kids.
We got a double wide now.
The double wides.
Gordo.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's 2 weeks of Raw and SmackDown.
Yep, and then a couple of things
Wrapped up.
for 205. So 205 has been seeing a lot more of the integration of the United Kingdom division. Last week, where we saw a little bit more of the United Kingdom division, specifically Tyler Bate, Mark Andrews, James Drake, Joseph Connors, Jordan Devlin, all appear on 205. Hurts me because Tyler Bate came out and like cut a promo against Enzo and then punched him in the face and then lost clean to him.
Well,
I guess, you know, Tyler Bate gets Enzo Amore's ex-girlfriend. Enzo gets the win.
guess that works.
And then, of course, in NXT, they've been building up for War Games, which is the NXT pay-per-view to go along with
I'm
Survivor
excited
Series.
for War Games.
So they finally got the entire card set.
Yeah.
So the card of NXT War Games is as follows. There is the Fatal 4-Way for the vacant NXT Women's Championship belt. So that is between Ember Moon, Peyton Royce, Nikki Cross, and Kairi Sane. A.K.A. Kairi Hojo, back when she was in Japan.
Which is going to be a first for WWE.
In what sense?
2 Japanese champions back
In
to
a
back.
row. There's going to be a dark match. Johnny Gargano, who has been on a sort of losing streak lately, versus Pete Dunne for the UK Championship.
This is going to be a dark match?
Yeah. Right? Isn't that insane?
That is nuts.
We're going to see Cassius Ohno versus Lars Sullivan. So my favorite big guy versus your favorite big guy.
One day, we will do some fantasy booking. Because I would definitely use Lars Sullivan.
And I would definitely use Chris Hero.
I would use Chris Hero too, but...
Then we finally get to see the match that's culminating for the past couple weeks, the Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black. Then there's the singles match for the NXT Championship. So that's Drew Galloway, Drew McIntyre versus Andrade Cien Almas. And then finally
Should be a good
the
match.
headlining match, of course, because it's the War Games match, is AOP, Authors of Pain,
And
Roddy Strong versus Sanity, which is Alexander Wolf, Eric Young, Killian Dane, and Sawyer. Oh,
not anymore.
and just Killian Dane, I guess. Versus the Undisputed Era, which is Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. In a, traditional War Games match. First time in how many years that a War Games match is going on?
Forever.
About 20. At least 20,
Yeah.
I think.
It's a different take on it. I mean, it's three teams of 3 instead of 2 teams of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we will eventually get back to the 4 or 5 things in some time. But this works. It really does work this way. You gotta have all 3 of those. That's your top guys.
The Revival's not in this.
The Revival
Get
is
it?
on the main roster.
Well, because top guys. Get it?
Nah, go away.
Bye.
I would really, you got to have Authors of Pain do a huge showing because this is going to be their swan song
Yeah.
in NXT. But God, I would really push Killian Dane to the moon in this match.
I mean,
Show that
He was
Damo
in the,
is the monster.
he was in the Andre this past WrestleMania. out of nowhere.
You mean the one that Mojo won?
The one that Gronk got involved in with Jinder Mahal. So...
Was Billy Gunn in this one? Was he in that?
Irish Whitney!
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it, Billy Gunn. Super calling his spots in Japan.
I'm so excited for Wrestle Kingdom.
Suplex me!
Just because they don't understand English doesn't mean the mic's not picking you up.
I mean, you just have like Jim Ross and Matt Stryker doing commentary. That's all. So yeah, just God damn.
But now it's gonna be Kevin Kelly and I forget. I'm sorry, other person. It was Kevin Kelly and Steve Corino last year, and it was incredible. Oh man, Steve Corino on commentary. I was crying. It was so good.
But yeah, not to get too far off topic.
Yeah.
I would totally make Killian Dane the big monster of this match and continue to push him along in it. Show, hey, this is kind of our next Braun Strowman. I mean, this is a big dude. He's not as big as Strowman, but dude is massive.
And I mean,
dude is super talented.
Yeah. I mean, as far as experience goes, he's got it in spades compared to Braun Strowman.
I mean, to me, this is the guy that I'm going to push. I don't even know if I would end up strapping him as opposed to just bringing him up to the roster eventually. I don't think you need to strap Killian Dane to bring him up to the main roster.
I think as far as getting him to be a singles champion, you wouldn't get that unless he defected from Sanity, because I feel like of course the singles champion that's going to rise out of that is Eric Young.
Right.
Much like in the Undisputed Era, the singles champion of that is going to be Adam Cole.
Bobby Fish. What?
I love Bobby Fish. I'm all about Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
But they're really sold on Adam Cole. A lot of people are really sold on Adam Cole. I never was really that into him, baby.
I know what I would do with Killian Dane if I was booking, but
call him Big Damo.
Yeah, I would definitely bring him up to main roster and just give him a huge push. And the end goal would be having him and Braun Strowman locking horns. It wouldn't be immediate, but it would be something that you would build up tension-wise.
Well, I mean, yeah, because that would sell itself.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do, you would just build up Dane until a Rumble, and then you get down to the old classic. Remember Hogan, Warrior? They turn around, they've cleared the ring, and it's like, oh, we finally get to see these two meet. That's what you want to do, and that's exactly what I would do. Halfway through the Rumble, they turn around, they've cleared the ring.
And all that's left is
and it's Strowman and Dane, and they step up and they have that face-off for 2 minutes, so you only really get like a minute's worth of a tease, but it's enough to build up to like a match at WrestleMania for a big payoff. Things like that we're missing right now. So yeah, that's kind of
essentially the WWE in 2 weeks. We tried to keep it under an hour.
we're just
barely making it because we like to, digress often.
Yeah. So this is the Loose Cannon, and that's Sam Keola,
the wrestling connoisseur.